Hi everyone, Leslie here for week 10 video vlog. I'm going to be focusing on the reading by Wayne E. Baker and Nathaniel Bulkley titled Paying It Forward versus Rewarding Reputations, Mechanisms of Generalized Reciprocity. Sorry if I butcher that word. For some reason I get tongue-tied when I pronounce that word, so just bear with me. I'm going to try my best. So really what they're talking about in this is that they did a study over a 3-month period over two organizational groups. And they used behavioral data collected from these members. And really what they did was to use empirical findings to develop propositions about the mechanisms of generalized reciprocity in organizations and link them to management practices. So first off, reciprocity is basically how what they say is a universal principle, is one of principal components. And there's a difference between paying it forward versus rewarding reputation. In an organization, paying it forward is a type of organizational citizenship behavior that occurs when members of an organization help third parties because they themselves were helped. Where rewarding reputation is another type of organizational citizenship behavior that occurs when peers monitor one another, helping those who help others and refusing to help those who don't help anyone at all. And what they found over that 3-month period was that reputational effects were strongest in the short term, but decayed thereafter. Paying it forward had stronger and more lasting effects. So, general reciprocity is a way of organizing and is an ongoing process of interlocked behaviors. But what I'm going to focus on first is paying it forward. Paying it forward means that helping others is driven by a positive effect. You help me, and I feel grateful, so I pay it forward by helping a third party. And weirdly enough, what immediately I thought of with paying it forward is Dunkin' Donuts lines. When someone ends up buying you a coffee and you get to your line and they covered it for you, so usually, like myself, I go ahead and do the same thing for the person behind me. I noticed that rewarding behavior that someone did for me, and I wanted to pay it forward to someone else. It is, as they state in this, helping others is driven by strategic action and intentional reputation building. So my first question, is there a moment that you can immediately think of where you participated in paying it forward, or were at the end of that where you were receiving something because you had done something previously? And was that in an organization or just something that happened in your life? I would love to know that, because I think it's really important to notice those moments of paying it forward. So another thing about paying it forward that I found so interesting when they were talking about this was when they talked about the broaden and build theory, and basically how moods are longer-term affective states that influence pro-social behavior. So these moments of being able to pay it forward and those acts of kindness and generosity are more initiated when there is this proactive, positive environment being initiated. Positive emotion of gratitude rather than obligation kind of explains more of the paying it forward movement. Positive mood increases pro-social behavior by lowering the perceived cost of helping and creating a more favorable view of others. With the broaden and build theory, like I talked about, is something that we've learned throughout other courses, so I always love the interconnection of tying things together. And that, goes to show that over time, positive emotions broaden our attention, our cognition. It builds psychological resources and promotes pro-social behavior. And paying it forward definitely fits under that category. The next is rewarding reputation. And with reputation Reputation is a person's history of actions towards others. Specifically, how helpful the person has been to others in the same social behavior. Sorry, I have a cold. In the same social system. A lot of times what they described it in this article was that reputations is pretty much like a person's, their image. And in an organization, it's their professional image, how they're viewed, how their character is viewed. Really that focus on character in an organizational setting when you have reputation. With rewarding reputation, that means helping others is driven by strategic action and intention. There's a purpose for that. People are motivated to help others so they themselves will be helped in the future. Because I'm going to help you, hopefully later down the line, you're going to help me for doing that. So those were the two main things that they focused on and differentiating the two. They did that through online systems that the participants, there were about 125 participating in an MBA program that were involved in this study. So my second question and my last thing is going to be that there was 3 propositions in this article. And kind of what they came up with. The first proposition was the practice of paying forward based on help received at any time, sustain generalized reciprocity in organizations, regardless of the size. Then the second one was rewarding recent reputations for helping sustain generalized reciprocity in organizations. As organization size increases, members increasingly rely on the cognitive shortcut, a recent reputation. So what they saw with reward reputation was that it was really hard to focus on the past and overall. When you have such a large organization, it's hard to realize what every single person is doing and how they're helping, and it became kind of overwhelming. And it was too taxing, and that's how they showed that paying it forward was just benefited so much more. But then there's a third proposition, and that's my third question. What is that third proposition, and what did you get out of proposition number 3 from this article? It was just a really interesting article, and really glad that I was able to really dive into it and really learn the difference between the two, because I didn't really have that foundation before reading this article. Bye, everyone.